All right. Hi. Good evening, I think. What time is it? It's good evening. Afternoon. All my days run together now. I don't get much sleep, so everything's all in one. Hi, I'm Sheena. I'm actually from Mississippi, so I'm from Terry. You guys know what Terry is? No. So Terry is a little small town right outside of Jackson. It's a little country town, really small. It's only like 1,000 people, I think. The population's like 1,000, maybe 1,100 people. Really small. Went to Terry High, and then I went to college here at USM. I actually double majored when I came here in psychology and film. So I did not come here to do anything in tech. I wanted to actually do IL psychology, which is pretty much taking psychology and marketing and playing with people's mind, which we do every day. So, quick example, when you go shopping and you check out, everything at the counter is always under $5. You guys ever notice that? Everything's like candy, like little stuff you just kind of pick up really quick. You kind of like try to throw it on the thing so your mom can pay for it real quick. That's what I want to do. So there was a purpose behind that. It's a purpose that everything's under $5. It's like a really quick impulse buy. Trying to think of another quick example. Walmart. You guys ever go on Walmart to like buy like grocery ever with your mom? So the two necessities in life are what? Bread and water. So if you walk in Walmart, where's bread? Bread's at the front, but where's the water? Water's at the back. So when you go get the two things you need, you gotta pass everything. So then you leave Walmart with like 10 things when you meant to go in there for like 2. Psychology. So actually it's what I went to school for. So I was gonna go to be the person that played with your mind to buy things and make stuff happen. But as Miranda said, senior year of college here, I went to Walmart, actually right down there on Hardy Street. Had this idea for an app. No technical background. I had no clue how to code at all. But I was like, I wished I had this app that I could use to keep up with my money and my receipts. I'm going to figure it out. And my roommate was actually with me. And I was like, hey, I think it'd be cool if like I create this app. And she was like, you're crazy. No. And no clue what I was doing. Went back to my apartment, opened up my computer, and using Microsoft Word, I actually wireframed out my very first app. So wireframing, are you guys doing wireframing today? No? Not part of it. So wireframing is pretty much like when you sketch out what you want your app to look like. So it's the vision of how you want it to work, what button goes where, why it should go there. That's what wireframing is. I did my wireframing in Microsoft Word, which is not where you do wireframing at all. So did that, called my mom and told her that I had this idea for an app. And she's like, well, aren't you in school for psychology and film? And I was like, yes, ma'am. She's like, well, why are you trying to create an app? It's like, because I had this idea for an app. So my mom supported me 100%. And I actually asked my dad, could he let me borrow some money so that I could hire a developer to work with me. Now, my dad is about the most frugal person you ever meet in your life. But he's like, okay, I'll let you borrow the money, but you gotta pay me back every penny, which I did. So I borrowed the money, got my first app. So the first app was out actually in August. So like started school, had an app out, senior year of college. I graduated in December, so let me say that. I graduated in December of that year. So August had my first app out, did not do well. I thought I was gonna be rich overnight. I was like, oh, I put this app out, and like next month, I'm telling you, like I'm dropping out of school my senior year of college because I'm gonna be rich. Did not happen at all. I had like 50 downloads. I was so disappointed. Y'all don't understand. I had like picked my house out and everything. So I was like, well, that didn't work. However, I fell in love with the process of creating apps. And so come November, December I was graduating, I was like, I'm gonna give it one more try. I'm gonna try to create one more app to see if this is for me. So December I created an app called Words on Pics. I'm pretty sure you guys know what the app did. It was Words on Pictures. It was kind of before its time, so now there's like 80 million apps. We can do like captions and memes. This was 2011, so I was kind of ahead of my time. But the app actually did really well. So I had like 5,000 downloads in like that first month, which was a long cry from the 50 that I had, for the first one. So I graduated, and I decided that I wanted to be a tech entrepreneur. Like I wanted to go deep into technology. This is what I do for a living with my life. I'm from Terry, Mississippi. So can you imagine me going to my parents and being like, Mom, Dad, I just graduated with 2 degrees. I got student loan debt. I want to be a tech entrepreneur. Did not go very well. So my mom was like, I support you. When you fall though, I got you. But when you fall, I got you. My dad was not going at all. He's like, you have 2 degrees. You either get a job and a paycheck and make a living. And I was like, well, I want to do tech. No, you have 2 degrees. You either get a job and get a paycheck. So my dad cut me off completely. Literally cut me off. He would call me, but if I needed $1, don't call him because he wasn't going. So I ended up doing some research, and I was like, if I want to do tech, where should I go? Because clearly Mississippi was not the place that you would think, especially in 2011, it's not the place that you would think, hey, this is where I want to do technology. So I did my research, and the first thing that kept popping up was, can anybody guess what it was? You want to say it out loud? Silicon Valley. Everything said Silicon Valley. So I was like, I got to get to Silicon Valley. Everybody know what Silicon Valley is? So Silicon Valley is in the northern area of California. It's around San Francisco. So a lot of people say Silicon Valley, San Francisco. They're actually not the same. They are all considered the Bay Area. But you have San Francisco, then right below San Francisco, you have Silicon Valley. So any major tech company that you can think of outside of Snapchat, minus Snapchat, Snapchat is in LA, everything else you can think of when it comes to technology is going to be based in Silicon Valley. Google, Facebook, Twitter, anything you can think of. Instagram, anything you can think of is going to be based in Silicon Valley. So I was like, well, I'm going to Silicon Valley because I'm trying to build this huge tech company and I'm going to be my billionaire with my nice house. Moved to Silicon Valley, biggest culture shock of my life. So for you guys who don't know what Silicon Valley is and never been there, there's no black people. There's like, for every 100 people, there's 1 black person maybe. Maybe it's worse than that. Culture shock. I'm from Mississippi. I see black people all the time. There was no black people. Also, it was very expensive. So the cost of living there is really, really, really expensive. So where you might can walk in a dollar store here, pick up some peanuts for $2. Peanuts out there is gonna cost like $6, $7. It's really, really expensive. So same peanuts, nothing special about them, just expensive. So I stayed there though. I did stay there for about 6 months. I got a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, a lot of networking, a lot of mentoring. Ultimately moved back to Austin, Texas. So Austin, Texas, it used to be considered the tech hub of the South. So if you want to do tech and you want to stay in the South, you would move to Austin, Texas. So I built my company out, Sheena Allen Apps. At that point, we had about 5 apps. We were closing in on about 3 million downloads. And I was trying to decide if I wanted to get an investment or if I wanted to move on to something else. So even when it came to getting an investment, black women actually receive less than 1% of all investment dollars. Now, to put that into perspective, they invest roughly about $1 trillion a year in tech companies. Roughly about $500, $750 billion every year is invested into different tech companies. Black women receive less than 1% of that. So your chances of getting money is very slim, very, very slim. And with me, I had this company that was doing really well. I mean, we were doing sometimes 10,000, 20,000 downloads per day. We were making money, so it wasn't like we wasn't making money. Like, we were actually making money. And I still would get told no by investors all the time. I would get every excuse in the book. Oh, you need more traction. Oh, you need a bigger team. Any excuse you can think of. But then I would have friends who would walk in who didn't look like me, and they would have an idea, literally. Not an app, not traction. They would have an idea, but they either was a white male, they went to Stanford, they went to MIT, and they would walk in with an idea, and guess what they was told? How much you need. Here's $50,000 to figure out if this idea will work or not. It happens, and to this day, it actually still happens all the time. So First company, actually still up and running, but I ended up coming back to Mississippi really to clear my head. So I was spending most of my time in Austin, New York, and Silicon Valley. And Mississippi has always been like my getaway. It was like when the world is crazy, I come back home to the country, sit on the back porch, watch deer and rabbits, and figure stuff out. So I came back here to really figure out, like, what am I going to do next? Because honestly, I feel like everybody around me really thought I was going to fail, because nobody from Mississippi does tech, especially not as a black woman. You don't do tech from Mississippi. And one thing I really stuck with me was, and I want you guys to know, I focused on not trying to prove everybody else wrong. Like, that's the worst thing you can ever do, is like trying to prove the next person wrong. I always step back, like, I'm gonna prove myself right. And so I came back, was trying to figure out, like, what can I do? Because this is what I love. Like, I really love technology. And being here, in Terry, there's only one bank. So if you've never been to Terry, there's literally only one bank in Terry. So people actually use alternative services, check cashing, payday lending. And I got a chance to be in Silicon Valley around the biggest companies in the world where they were disrupting industries. So Uber disrupted what? The taxi industry. Airbnb disrupted what? Hotels. So I got a chance to be around like all these companies that was like disrupting like legacy industry that people said, oh, no one would ever be able to disrupt that. So for me, it was like, how could I actually disrupt the financial industry by being from Terry, Mississippi, where there was only one bank, which means I had a competitive advantage over Wells Fargo, Bank of America, any major bank, because when you're sitting so far at the top, you don't see below. You see nobody at the bottom. Only thing you see is the $1 trillion that you bring in every year at the very top. So my biggest advantage was I got to see the bottom. And so that was the start of my second startup, which is what I do now, which is a company called Capway. And we do financial technology where we actually provide debit cards to people who probably without Capway would never have debit cards. But in the world that we live in today, we want Spotify, Amazon, Uber. And in order to do any of that, what do you have to have? You gotta have a card. So, but you guys be amazed at how many people in the world today actually do not have a debit card. Like, they're completely cashless, no bank account, no anything. And so we actually provide debit cards to the next generation who would never probably have debit cards. In addition to that, we do a lot with financial education. So a lot of it is about understanding how money works. So if I asked everybody in here, if you went and bought some Jordans today for $150, how many shares of Nike could you have bought for the same amount of money? Does anybody know? If you was to buy a pair of Jordans right now for $150, if I say instead of buying those Jordans for $150, buy a share of Nike instead, you know how many shares you could have got for that $150? Two. So think about all the Nike shoes you've bought over the years, or that your parents have bought over the years. If you would have bought shares instead of buying those Nikes, how much money you'd be worth right now? It's not the problem that you don't want to do it. The fact is, most of us just don't know that. And it's not just y'all, it's me growing up, I wouldn't have known that. I didn't know that until I got into doing what I do now. So it's not just to give people debit cards, it's really educating you on how to have generational wealth, how to make money, how to keep money. And so that's what I do at the company that I have now. And another part that we do is we work with a lot of influencers. So it's not me telling you, you shouldn't buy Nike, you should buy Nike shares. We work with everything from celebrities to influencers to financial experts. So whether it's bringing in T.I. to do an interview, whether it's bringing in Serena Williams to do an interview, it's not that I'm trying to sit here and talk to you about money, because I know you guys don't care if I talk to you about money, because I wouldn't care at 18 if somebody talking about money. We bring in people that you actually probably like, and they talk to you about money. And so that's what we do at Capway, where we are now. And outside of that, I do run a company called App It Out. We actually work with people who have app ideas, trying to go from just purely idea stage to actual development. And then I do things like this, where I come in and I actually talk to people. Because most people don't see people in tech that look like them. I didn't see anybody in tech that looked like me when I was doing this. The person I looked up to, kind of ashamed to say it in a way, was Mark Zuckerberg. That's who I looked up to when I got into tech. Everybody know who Mark Zuckerberg is? Founder of Facebook. That's who I looked up to when I got into tech, because there was no black women that I could look up to and be like, oh, I like what she's doing. Like, let me talk to her. So that's the thing that I want to change. And there's definitely more black women now coming to tech, but it's of all the women who's raised over $1 million, there's 7 billion people in the world. Only about 40 black women has raised over $1 million for their tech companies out of 70 billion people in the world. So it's still a long road. So I'm actually really proud of all of you ladies for coming today. I think it shows improvement, it shows progress. So I am even curious of why you ladies chose to come today. Is there anybody who came because they really wanted to come? Not like it was a need or it was like I had to come. Is there anybody who really came because they wanted to come?
Yeah.
What was your why?
Because, well, me growing up, I've always been a hands-on type person. And even from a young age, my main goal and my main mindset is that I want to go to school at MIT in Massachusetts because I just love technology. So
Nice.
this seems like a great opportunity for me to see if this is what I want to do.
So what do you think so far? Yes? What do you want to do in tech?
Robotics.
Robotics, amazing, okay. Anybody else who really wanted to be here, like your why of why you wanted to be here? So nobody else really wanted to be here, obviously. It was like I just came because they told me to come. I want to join the team, and you like it? Okay. So what do you like? Tell me what do you like about it so far? And this is the thing about tech. I think the thing that people say, we think tech, everybody's like, oh, it's coding. Like there's so much more to tech than like just coding. Like the people that I hire every day, like 4% of my staff are coders. Everybody else do something totally different. They do designing, they do marketing, they do sales. So tech is not just coding. So if you don't like the coding piece of it, it doesn't mean like you don't belong in tech. Like it's much more to it than coding. So what do you guys like so far about it?
I like it because like I'm stepping outside my comfort zone, you know, and I usually do things like this, but I like it.
Okay. Anybody else? What you like so far? Okay, what you don't like so far then, how about that? Let's try that one. What are you not liking?
Oh my God, that's crazy.
What are you stressing about?
Like, you know, everybody got their own ideas or whatever, but then like it be stressful. Trying to figure out what you want to do and how you want to do it. Then it get good.
So is everybody everybody has their idea already ready to go, or you guys still figuring out what direction? You ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Everybody ready? She like, nah. We ain't there yet. So what's the struggle of getting ready?
It's like, I don't know. There's a lot going on. You really gotta think about it. Like, you gotta think. A lot of thinking.
Okay. Thinking. I get it. Well, I'll say this. Sometimes it's when you're trying to think of something to come together, always think of like problems that you have a really great opportunity to solve, especially as women of color. Because you gotta think, no one's creating stuff for you guys. Like, even the stuff that you guys use, it wasn't created for people that look like y'all. When Facebook was created, do y'all know why Facebook was created and who was created for? It was created for Ivy League college students. It was not created for people that look like the people in this room at all. It was for people who went to Harvard, MIT, Stanford. It was not created for the people in this room at all. It so happened that it got so big that it became available to everybody, but it was not created for you all. So you guys have an opportunity to think of like, if you could create something that you would want or you would need, like what would it be? So kind of think along those lines. Because you got an opportunity to not create something for you because nobody's creating anything for you. The truth is, people at the top think that there's no money in the demographic of what you look like. So they're not going to ever create anything that's directly for you because they think that you guys don't have the money that they need to build a huge mass market of what they need. So you are trying to think, just think of like, what would you want? Like, what would be dope that you think would be cool to have, to be able to use? Maybe that'll help the thinking process, maybe, kinda. But yeah, so I want to open it up for questions of any sort, outside of asking me how much money did I make, because I feel like that's the question everybody asks me. Outside of that, I'm willing to answer any question.
How old are you?
So I just turned 30 last week.
That's amazing.
I'm currently going through an early life crisis because I left my 20s. But I just turned 30. And I was actually blessed this year. So I made Forbes 30 under 30. And I made Inc. 30 under 30. So I did that before I turned 30 last month. But I'm 30, so I'm getting old. But I've been doing this since I was 22. So I've been doing it for a while. It's hard. I would lie to you and say there wasn't times that I was like, let me throw the white towel in. Like, this is not for me. I've definitely had my nights of crying. But you got to decide what you want to do for you. And if it's tech, if it's being a nurse, whatever it is, like, eventually you got to decide for you. The analogy I always use, and I tell people all the time, whether your parents, your friends, you can't feed anybody else from an empty plate. So you got to feed you first. So you got to take care of you first.
So I know you won't tell us what you make, but can you tell us about, and we talked about this a lot.
Yes.
Let's talk about maybe some references to that. So, if you were going to be a model, or if you were going to be a music star, or if you were going to be some of these other sort of high-profile positions.
Yeah.
How might a tech job compare to?
Well, the first thing, the truth is, we're actually going to be short of people to fill tech jobs. So it's, like I say, about 2025, there'll be over 100,000 tech jobs available that we won't have enough people to fill those positions because there's not enough people going into the tech field. But think about it, if you go to school for social work, just an example, you're going to leave that college in debt and you're going to make an average of about $35,000, $40,000 being a social worker. And there's nothing wrong with being a social worker, by the way, nothing at all. My point is, at the same time, you can go to college for tech and you can get an entry-level job as a developer, as an example, making $150,000 as an entry level. You can be making up to $500,000 in the tech world. And then you get on the other side of tech where maybe you want to start an actual tech company. You got to think about it. There's a difference in being rich and there's a difference in being wealthy. There's rich and then there's wealth. So somebody name their favorite celebrity. It doesn't even matter. Steph Curry. Do you follow Steph Curry on Instagram? All right, somebody over here name favorite celebrity. Drake. You follow him on Instagram? All right. So your favorite person, Drake, Steph Curry, they are rich. You follow them on Instagram. So it's like they got a check from Instagram and they're doing their thing. So they're what? They're rich, right? Now think about the person who actually owns Instagram. What are they? They're wealthy. So the people that you guys probably see the most that you like, and it's like, that is so cool. They drive the Bentleys. Then you got the people who are behind the picture. They don't even drive Bentleys. They have like helicopters. Like, not being funny, like literally, they have helicopters. Like, I don't need to drive a Bentley. I don't even want to drive. I have a driver. And I want to go somewhere. I'm not trying to sit in traffic. I'm getting a helicopter and they're just going to take me like where I need to go. That's wealth. Wealth to the point of like a lot of these CEOs of like Mark Zuckerberg is worth $50 billion. Y'all know what kind of car Mark Zuckerberg drives? A Subaru. A Subaru. Like a Subaru is like a $40,000 car, $30,000 car. Seriously, he drives a Subaru. Like, that's what he drives. The guy's worth $50 billion. But then you have the person who's worth like $1 million, and what they're gonna drive? Mercedes, a Bentley, something like. It's different levels of wealth. And the reason that tech world has so much wealth in it, and why I'm saying that, to the point of her, what she asked and what I'm saying, the reason a lot of us have not been into tech, because we have not been introduced to wealth. But now you ladies have the opportunity to actually be introduced to wealth, to have wealth. So always think of that when you're trying to go into a different field or different options. There's way more different options. Than, when I was growing up, there's only two things you wanted to be. There was an athlete or a rapper. One or the other. Like, that was the only two people that you thought made money.
Oh, that's
Still the same. Like, if I want money, I gotta be a rapper, I gotta be an athlete. I mean, I play basketball and I can shoot a 3, but it ain't gonna make me that much money. It's not gonna get me to that level of wealth. You gotta decide, do you wanna receive a check or do you wanna write a check? Steph Curry, love Steph Curry. Actually, I do love Steph Curry. But Steph Curry receives a check every week in his locker playing basketball. The person that writes Steph Curry check, I'm trying to be that guy. I want to write the check. I don't want to receive the check. In tech, because there's so many different opportunities, so many different levels of tech, so robotics, cybersecurity, mobile applications, because there's so many different levels of tech, you guys can be writing checks. As women of color, you can be writing checks. I hate paying taxes, but it feels good every month when I write somebody's check. I'm not hearing voices, right? Okay. Oh, the Jesus. Any other questions, thoughts, feedback?
Are you working your way to wealth?
Yes. So I do everything from invest, multiple streams of income. No person that's wealthy has one stream of income. I guarantee you they have 2, 3, 4. Mark Zuckerberg looks like he owns Facebook and he runs it. I guarantee you he has like 5 other companies that he's running. No person of wealth has one stream of income. They do a lot of investing. They invest everything from, most of your billionaires are in 3 different categories. It's going to be fashion, technology, or real estate. So investing like real estate, investing in people and things that most people won't invest in because they don't believe in it. So for example, you came to me and had an idea about a black beauty line, I'm gonna listen to you because I know what it's like. So I just probably not gonna listen to you. So I get to invest in things that have high returns. Being frugal, I don't spend money. I get my family talks about me all the time. I will literally like not buy anything. But Warren Buffett, who's the second richest person in the world, lives in his exact same 5-bedroom house that he bought like in 1978. And he's worth $87 billion, something like that. So being frugal, being smart with your money, investing, having multiple streams of income, so yeah. I drive my car that I make mistakes, I've made mistakes. My first time making money, I went to the BMW car lot, bought a brand new car at the showroom floor. I was like, I made it. And then as I learned money, I was like, that was the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life. And I literally got rid of my car. I went back and got a car that was half of what I paid, and even now I don't even drive it. So it was like a waste of money. So it's just being smart with money. And then you get to the point like when you have money, you can have fun with money. So when you see rappers, like people that are really smart with money, if they have like jewelry, I guarantee you that's not even a fraction of how much money they're worth. Because then you get to have fun with money when you really build wealth. So yeah, but it's not gonna happen overnight.
I have 3 questions.
Okay, I got 3 answers.
Did you get the house that you wanted?
I actually am buying my first home now. Because I move a lot and I travel a lot, so I'm not necessarily always, I've either stayed with people or I have a roommate just because I'm never there. So it was like, why am I buying anything and I'm literally never going to be there? There's times where I'm in a different city every other day. Like I'm on a plane here, I leave there, I'm on a plane there. But now that we have our main office in Atlanta, so I'm going to buy my first home this year. And I'm just going to buy other homes just for asset purposes, investment purposes. So I haven't gotten the house yet, but I'm working on it.
Okay. Well, you answered my second question, which was going to be, do you live in Mississippi and is your company here? But you said it's in
Yeah, so we just moved. We were in Silicon Valley. Even with Capway, we moved Capway to Silicon Valley, spent a little time in New York. We're officially headquartered now in Atlanta. But I do come back to Mississippi as often as I can, just because while everybody else sees Mississippi as like the bottom of the bottom, I see opportunity. And so whether it's investing, whether it's coming back and talking to ladies like you all, whether it's working with Julie on different projects, seeing family, because all my family's here. I come back a lot, but no, I'm not based here anymore.
And my third question is going to be, like, if your company was here, how did you make it in Mississippi with a tech company, and Mississippi is looked upon as like not really the like most technology type state?
Well, the infrastructure for tech is getting better now. When I first started, especially 2011, making it here was like almost impossible. There was just no infrastructure. It was like it wasn't even the opportunity to do it. And then you have to realize, like, if I came back here now, it's some people would love to be like the big fish in a small pond, but there's nowhere for you to grow. And for me, like, I want to grow all the time. Like, I want to be growing to the day that I die. If I'm like 90 on a cane, like, I want to be figuring out like goals, like how can I grow? And so the reason I haven't come back here now is because it would make me a big fish in a small pond. Now, coming back here and doing like a co-working space, working with other people to start companies, that means I'm growing because I'm helping you guys grow. But for me now, I wouldn't come back because I wouldn't have room to grow. But I do come all the time because I have family here. And my dad would kill me if I don't come visit, at least every now and then. Anybody else?
Do you have any younger brothers or sisters that you're helping along?
So I'm the baby, but you would think I was the oldest. Because I get called all the time about something, all the time. In fact, my sister, who was 41, she was unbanked. So she didn't have a bank account. She just carried cash everywhere. She would give me her money or give my mom her money, pay her bills every month. When I moved the company to Atlanta, I brought her with me and I hired her. So now she works for me. She gets a job. She has a job. She gets a paycheck and she has a bank account. So I do have siblings. They're older, but I kind of play the role of the older sibling. But yeah, I help them out, whether it's financially, but I'm not the person to be like, oh, I need $100 for my light bill. It's like, okay, so let's sit down and go through your finances. Let's figure out where you're not spending your money correctly. I have one brother who literally buys food every day. Why? You better meal prep, save some money. But I do have siblings, but I have 7 siblings actually, but they're all older.
So you created several apps. Like, which app was like struck you the most? Like you looked at it and like, wow, you have like this many downloads.
The It app for me was an app called Dublin. It was a cloning app. So it was where like you open it up and one side was frozen and one side was like free. And you would take a picture and then once you took that picture, the other side would unfreeze. And so like you could like take a picture of yourself, like high-fiving yourself, playing basketball against yourself, like really cool things. That was the one that took off. And it took off when like a lot of influencers started using it and kind of got the word out. But that was the app that was doing by itself, was probably doing 10,000 downloads a day. And this was maybe mid 2013. So that was like my It app. That was like, I made it. All right, well, thank you, ladies, and good luck.